Hey guys, it's Alex and Jen from our house. It's 6:10 in the morning on Friday, and we are headed on a expedition to 3 different places today to meet rescuers, see their conditions of their shelter in their homes and their sanctuaries, and provide donations to them, as well as do some vital surgeries and vaccinations to support the health of their dogs.
So these shelters or sanctuaries are people who approached us after the rescue road trip asking for vital help, as Alex has mentioned, which is something that we're very happy to support, because these are actually not just requests for food or for money, but actual requests, for example, sterilization or vaccination, which really benefits the dogs long term. They actually also asked and requested for cats, because one shelter has more cats, but unfortunately the situation is that vaccinations for cats are much more rare and a lot more expensive. So with the Pearl Fund that we're using, it's not very possible for us to stretch that budget to accommodate the cats.
So today is the first time that we're going to 2 out of the 3 of these spaces. That's important because when we do go on rescue road trips and we do provide donations, we want to be able to kind of audit the space that and the situation that each rescuer or sanctuary is going through. In Vietnam, this can be quite variable, so there's a huge range of how this is done, and this is one of the main goals of what we're supporting at our house, is how can we support the structure, support the effectiveness and the sustainability of the rescue efforts going on, and also provide some visibility, some awareness, further support, and also the sense of dignity to the rescuers, because a lot of rescuers are looked at in a kind of negative light because they're seen more as hoarders, because they don't really have the capacity to do anything more than just take care of the animals that they have. And so this is an end result, a product of a situation where there's no structural support in the country as a whole. So we're looking at how can we help to provide as much support as possible in that way, and help to raise awareness and support these shelters every day. So we've just left Chi Hung's home. In her home, she is taking care of around 40 to 50 animals. These are dogs and cats, and this is the first time that we have visited her, so we had a lot to learn and a lot of questions to ask, and had the opportunity to get to know the animals and her as well, and her family. First and foremost, what stands out is that she really has probably the best behaved dogs that we've seen out of any shelter that we've been to in Vietnam. Her dogs are really friendly, they look very healthy. The vets said that they were actually really healthy looking, and maybe they had a few skin issues or something, but not anything serious or significant. And all of her dogs are vaccinated, and all of the males are neutered, and only 3 females are not neutered. So actually, Chi Hung, she does not want to adopt out these dogs. These dogs have been with her for a long time, and so she really considers them part of the family. As for the cats are generally also in good condition, but some of them, probably 5 or 6 of them, had some sniffles, some respiratory issues, either drainage from the eyes or from the nose. And so those are the cases that need to be more monitored. And she also does not have the vaccinations for those cats. So vaccinations are harder to come by, they're more expensive. And so the good thing though is that she is very open to those cats being adopted. So that would make life for her a little more sustainable, a little easier. Also, cats are a little harder to contain, so they go in and outside on their own all the time, and then they jump up on counters, they jump up on the sink, so it's harder to maintain a hygienic environment when you have the cats there roaming freely. So overall, we're very impressed actually with her setup. This is inside of her home. It's very simple. It is what some people may not consider like a normal shelter or acceptable shelter arrangement, but given the health of the animals, how well she knew them, took care of them, how well behaved they were, we would actually consider this one of the better situations out of any shelter that we work with, because it's really under control by her and her family, and the health of the animals is very positive. And we are heading to Chi Hang Shelter next. So Chi Hang Shelter we visited for the first time during the rescue road trip before Christmas. We visited her as the last stop of 5 stops during that trip, and we were there in the evening. So we actually had dinner at her home and at the shelter. This is a space that also serves as like an outdoor garden shop. So the dogs are all in this large kind of warehouse area. Last time it was very noisy. It was like that, almost the exact opposite of the noise level in Chi Hung Shelter, because there are a few dogs that really just bark nonstop while we were there. So let's see if it's the same this time. So we just finished our second visit of the day to Chi Hang's shelter and home. At her shelter, she's got about 20 dogs in one location and another 10 or 15 in the actual house behind the shop. So the team performed 4 neutering surgeries. They were all quite successful. In the situation of Vietnam, it is okay and common to do surgeries at the home or at the shelter because it's difficult to bring the dogs to the shelter, and it also costs a lot more to do that. So our team here is able to support in doing the neutering on site. That took about an hour and a half to do the 4 surgeries, and after that we caught up a bit and discussed potential dogs for fostering and adoption that could come to our house. Most notably one of the huskies that she has there, who is female and is quite well behaved, looks like it can find a home very quickly, and typically in our experience huskies do find a home very quickly. So it was great to see her space during the day, to get more familiar with her and her family, and also to bring a handful of different donations that we had gathered from previous fundraising campaigns to support them with different medicine, different kinds of grooming products, and also food and treat products. One thing every time that we talk or visit with Chi Hang is that we sense her amazing positivity, her really dynamic and loving nature. She's always so happy to see us. She's always very generous with both her time, and she always wants to be able to treat us when we come there. This is a part of the culture of her and her family, and also of a lot of rescuers, where they really have kind and generous hearts, and what they are trying to do is done out of love. So when we go and visit them, we feel this as well, and we want to share that loving, caring, passionate nature that they have also with other people, so they can see the effort and the care and the kind-heartedness that they have, which is something that we want to support and we want to spread awareness about. And our third and final stop for today is at Miss Chow's shelter. This is the first time that we are visiting her. We got a lot of outreach after the rescue road trip before Christmas. And with that outreach, we are connecting with new shelters, looking at can we support them, how can we support them, where are they, what is their situation. And so this is our first visit. What we will definitely do during this visit is 6 vaccinations of dogs. So that is a good support to help the general health and well-being of the dogs on site. And we'll get to know her, ask her a lot of questions about her setup, and ensure that we can share that information with the community so that the community can also be driven to support. So we just finished our visit to Chi Chow's shelter. She focuses on rescuing cats, but does have 6 dogs that are there on site right now, one of which is pregnant. So we had 5 of those dogs vaccinated, and this is their first dose, meaning that they'll need to get another dose in about 3 weeks' time, at the beginning of February. Although she does have the dogs, she's not really focused as much on rescuing the dogs. It's really on the cats, and she has about 20 or 30 cats right now that are somewhat free roaming and somewhat contained in the shelter space. So one of the standout things about Chi Chow during this visit is that she's really been burdened in terms of her life situation because of her commitment to care for the cats. That has led to her family ousting her from the home, her husband, and her splitting, and her having to pick up a new life and build a new life with her friends in this new location. But what was super clear throughout was that she has a really, really deep emotional connection and love and consideration for the cats and the dogs. But especially the cats. She shared a few stories that were quite sad about the cats getting sick and her trying to do treatment and going into debt, and then the cat still passing away, which literally, made her cry, and she cried a few times in recounting those stories, so you can see how powerful it was for her. And so the other real challenge for her was that people critique her for what she does, and they think that she's crazy or something like that. And also she has a real hesitancy to ask for any support online. So this is a common challenge that is faced by these informal rescuers and informal shelters, is that they don't have any kind of way to give credibility to themselves. They don't have any way to verify what they're doing and why they're doing it. So this, with our visit to the rescue road trip, this is probably the first and only time they've ever had anyone come to their shelter, come to their space, verify the work that they're doing, verify their intentions, their reasons, their motivations for doing that, and actually demonstrate genuine and community level support. So this is also quite moving for them, because this is the first time that has been able to happen. And so we are really proud and happy to be able to make that impact for these amazing people who are doing really hard work and making a difference in the lives of dozens of animals. So it was a really powerful visit, and we're glad that we were able to do that, and we look forward to how we can contribute and support Chi Chow moving forward.